Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rusty Maths channel, and welcome to this video on solving quadratics by using graphs. Now, if you've been watching the series, it's a 4-part series and this is video number 2. In the first video we solved it by factorization. All the other methods that I use to solve quadratics are in the description below. But in this one though, we are going to be using a graph to find the answers or the roots to the equation. Join me in this lesson. Let's go see what will happen. Now, if you've been watching my other video, you will notice that this is the same question I used in video number 1, which is solving quadratics by factorization. I wanted to keep the same questions to show you that the answers are going to be the same. So we're going to go with this one here. We're going to draw this graph, the graph for this function, using x values from -5 to 2. So for that one, I'm going just to quickly draw my table out and then get all my information in there. So we're going to get a line here, and then I'm going to say that my x values are... Okay, so I've put my x values in. Now I'm going to just drop in my y values real quick. In this one, notice that I didn't show you how I got the answers for in here. Now, I will assume that you know how to do that, but if you don't know how to do that, let's just quickly do, let's just do one real quick just to show you how I got those answers. So on the first one, when x is equal to -5 here, what I'm going to do is substitute -5 everywhere there is x. So my function says that it's x squared add 3x take away 4. What I'm going to do is replace this x for -5 and replace this x for -5. And what will end up happening is this. -5 squared is going to be 25 because it's -5 times -5. Add, now we're going to do 3 times -5, which is going to be -15. And then we're going to take away 4 like that. And then we just work that out and see what happens. 25 take away 15 gives me 10. 10 take away 4 gives me 6. And that's why there is a 6 there. Okay, so that's how we get those answers. You can use that method to find the answers for all the other parts in this. You can even draw it in a lovely, beautiful table if you like. Anyway, now that I've got those, I am now going to plot this and then draw it, and then I'll give you some tips and tricks about what happens while you're drawing it. So we're going to go -5 goes with 6. So I'm going to go -5 all the way up here to 6. So I'm going to put my first mark there. Then we have 4 goes with 0. So that is 4 and 0. So that goes there. Then we're going to have -3 goes with -4 all the way down here. I'm just going to plot the rest of the points because you know what's happening now. Okay, so a point here now. Now I've got all my points are in there. There they are. I am now going to draw this curve. Now this curve is called a parabola, or as the English say, a parabola, but it's called a parabola. And the way a parabola works, you have this dip, but then the more the graph goes up, the more it spreads out like that. It will never come back to each other again. It'll just keep getting wider and wider. But when you go to draw this graph, you must never use a ruler on this. I know some people are pretty much like, you know, I don't want it to look a bit funny, but it looks funny when you use a ruler and you lose marks because you need to read information from this graph. It needs to be a beautifully drawn curve. I'm going to have a go drawing this now, and it is a job that you need to be very patient with. So I'm going to quickly draw this curve now. Okay, that is my curve done. A little bit on the wobbly side. I'm not liking this little corner going down here, but I'm not going to be reading any information from that, so I'm not touching it. Okay, so that's going to be that done. Now, let's go on and learn a little bit more about what we're actually looking at here. Now, we are looking at the curve for this function. And because it's equal to 0, I have to look along the x-axis for the answers, because that's the curve, this is a y value, and y is equal to 0 here. And I have to check to see where the graph cuts on this line, and it cuts there and there. So we've got x squared add 3x take away 4 is equal to 0. It means that x is equal to -4, which is just there where it cuts the x-axis, and x is equal to 1. Now, if you've watched my first video, you're going to realize that it is exactly the same answers that we got when we solved it in that video. Now, there are a few more things I want to tell you while I've got you here. First of all, where the graph cuts the x-axis, these are called roots. So this is a root 1, and this is my other root here. Okay, these are called roots. So in the question, when you're doing it, they might say, find the roots of the equation. And if they say that, you need to know that you're looking for it on the x-axis just there. The next thing that they might say to you is find a turning point or the vertex. Okay, now right at the bottom of the graph here, now if the graph has a maximum value, if it looks like that, like an N shape, then the turning point would be at the top, not at the bottom. But in this case, my turning point is down here. Find the absolute middle of the graph, and that point is just there. That's my turning point. And if they ask you for it, then you need to write it as a pair of coordinates, because it's a point, a turning point. You need the x and the y. So I'm now going to say that the turning point, what's the x value? Well, it's -1.5. So it's -1.5. And then what's the y value? Well, for mine, it's about -6.2. So -6.2 there, and this is done. So if you are asked for the turning point or the vertex, that's what they mean. Okay, so I'm just giving you all of these languages so you know that's what they're asking you for. And finally, to finish off the video today, what if they then said to you, using your graph, solve for x squared plus 3x subtract 4 is equal to -1. What if they said that? Okay, it's not equal to 0 this time, it's equal to -1. What do you do in a situation like that? Well, first of all, be observant. Notice that this is the same function that you have drawn here. It's the same function we've been working with the whole time. But now, rather than a 0, they have a -1 here. So where do I find that? Well, it means that this is my function and this is my y value. So go to your y-axis and find -1. It is just here. So I'm going to quickly stick a line across there. Let's make it a blue line. So I'm going to stick a line across there at y equals -1. So let's write that in. This is the line y equals -1. And then once I get that, I then see where the line and the curve crosses each other and read that up. So that's -3.8. And this one here is 0.8. So all I'm going to say there, that my answer is x is equal to -3.8 and x is equal to 0.8. And that's it. And that's how you solve quadratic equations using a graph. A few little tips and tricks with this then. When you get one of these on an exam, the table will probably be given to you like this, and they would give you some of the answers but not all of it, so you don't need to find all of the answers, and then you'll get 2 marks for that, just for filling the table out. So bear that in mind. You get 2 marks just for filling out that table. The next thing to be mindful of is that they will already also give you all of these scales here, so you're going to have a grid with the numbers on it already, and all you got to do is plot the graph when it's done. If that's the case, when you read off the roots or any answers from anywhere else, they'll give you a scale where they'll say, okay, so this answer for me was -3.8. They might say they'll accept an answer between negative 3.6 and 4. And then you know that you're all right. But if they have drawn the graph for you already and you need to read the information off, it needs to be accurate. So you need to check your scale properly and read it off. Anyway, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe below, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss another upload. Video part 3 is coming up now, which is all about solving it by completing the square. You can see it on the window just there, or hit the icon down there to subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.